Pakistan cricket at its best. 1 minute down, next minute up.
Thanks very much, everybody, for joining me once again. Saj Sadiq here for Pak Passion, bringing you another exclusive interview. Delighted to be joined by a gentleman who was the Pakistan head coach at one point, former Australian pace bowler, 46 test matches where he took 180 wickets, played 79 ODIs, 88 wickets, 666 wickets in first-class cricket, which is just absolutely amazing. As I say, he was the Pakistan head coach at one point. These days, he does a lot of commentary, a little bit of writing, and still doing some coaching. The one and only Geoff Lawson. Geoff, thanks very much for your time. Nice to see you again.
Lovely to see you always, it's been a while to have a chat with you, but all good. Looking forward to it.
It's been a few years, Geoff, yeah. I was just looking at my diary where I note down all the interviews, and it has been a few years. Geoff, I think first and foremost, I've just summarised what you're doing these days, but, if you just let our viewers know, you're still involved in cricket, aren't you?
Oh, very much so. The one you missed, Saj, was I'm also a New South Wales state selector, so pretty important job dealing with the state team, and also, I go around at club cricket on the weekends, look at all the players, deal a bit with the under-19 pathway and a bit of the under-17. So yeah, very much involved in the game, which is terrific.
Fantastic. Now, Geoff, a couple of years ago, you were back in Pakistan working on the Engro cricket coaching project back in Lahore, I believe. Must have brought back some nice memories and some not so nice memories, I think, Geoff.
Oh, all good memories. It was terrific. We're only back for, well, I think I was only there for about 10 days or so, helping out with the fast bowling program back in the NCA in Lahore. Wasn't in the same room I'd been as the coach. I was just around the corridor, so it was great to be back, same building, using the facilities. We had a bit of rain during that time. The monsoon was starting, so a lot of time in the indoor centre. But yeah, look, it's just like being back at home. You can wander out the front gate and go around to the cafes and the ice cream house, a couple of 100 metres away. Yeah, no, really good time, and helping out with some of the pathway program there, and a couple of coaches we had, a couple of the Pakistani coaches were guys I'd coached. So it was a very good time.
Geoff, tell us a little bit about the talent. You mentioned that you're working with predominantly the fast bowlers there. We hear that there's a lot of talent in Pakistan. Did you agree with that when you were there?
Oh, yeah, and the program they had running, there was some under 15s, 17s and 19s. So I dealt mostly with the 17s and the 19s and mostly the fast bowlers, but everybody. We had some very good overseas coaches there. It was a very good coaching group, plus the local coaches. But there was, the talent was terrific. There was a couple of very young leg spinners who looked wonderful. They had a couple of 6'6" tall fast bowlers, one left-hander, one right-hander, who looked like they were ready for international cricket almost. So, the natural talent has always been there in Pakistan, and we certainly saw it on that occasion. It's just how you continue to develop it and give it an opportunity to play. You've got to play the game. You can have as many nets and coaching sessions as you like, but you've got to play cricket. With that sort of natural talent, Pakistan keeps producing natural talent, then you've got to turn that into performance.
I guess for somebody who's been involved in Pakistan cricket like yourself, Geoff, and I've watched Pakistan cricket for many years now, the frustrating aspect of Pakistan cricket, certainly in the last few years, Geoff, has been we keep hearing about this talent. We've got lots of talent, but that talent seems to disappear. It doesn't seem to reach its potential. Why is that?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I'm not over in Pakistan all the time. But what you do, I mean, I still follow the game pretty closely, and I like to see the young talent in Pakistan and see where they go. But it seems to me that a lot of the young players aren't given extended opportunities. If they're not immediately successful, they move on to somebody else because the talent pool is so deep. it's an easy thing to do to not give somebody an extended opportunity. We're batting, bowling, it doesn't matter what you're doing. But to get better at our game of cricket, you need experience. The more that you play, the better you get. And I don't think a lot of the players, they show great natural talent, so they pick them, fair enough, but they don't stick with them if they fail to start off with. And that's a bit of the history of Pakistan cricket, that they churn through players a little bit too quickly. They don't identify the talent and stick with them and give them an opportunity to be very good players in the medium to long term. They're always looking for a short-term return. And, cricket, for the most part, is not like that. You get some, young geniuses who come in when they're 17, 18, 19 and play international cricket for a long time. But most players, it takes time to develop and learn your game and find out what your strengths and weaknesses are. And sometimes you just got to be patient with players.
You're somebody who's been involved in the Australian cricket system for many years, Geoff. You still are, as you confirmed to me. You were involved in Pakistan cricket for a few years as well. How do the two systems compare, Geoff? And we keep seeing Australia churning out these battle-hardened cricketers from their domestic level, whereas Pakistan tends to falter in the production line of great players these days.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Pakistan's got about 10 times the population of Australia, not quite 10 times, but almost. I suppose in Australia we have to make the most of what we've got. You've got limited resources. I just said, the talent pool in Pakistan is very deep because so many people play the game. And that sometimes you get a bit flippant with your selections. In Australia, we can't afford to waste too many of our resources. But identifying talent is a key to it, and then giving them the opportunity. And as a state selector and a consultants for our under-19 sides, that I'm very much aware of that. We identify who we think are good players, but then we know we've got to have them around for 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe longer years. So in Australia, I'm in Sydney, that our fallback is you go and play club cricket. And our first grade standard, our premier cricket in Sydney is very strong. And so young players who may fail at the first hurdle, they've got to go back to club cricket and get their opportunity and produce there. So we do have a position we want our players to be in. Pakistan's got a lot of club cricket, a lot of first-class cricket, but maybe the systems are a little bit different. But we do need to nurture the talent we have because it is a limited talent pool. And I guess as selectors and coaches, we back the ability of our players. We don't second guess them. We give them the opportunity to express how good they are. And most of the time you get it right. Sometimes you don't. It's not a perfect system by any means, but a lot of times you get it right. And say, for example, in the Australian team right now, a guy like Jake Weatherald has got in the team, and he's his early 30s. But when he was in his early 20s, people just said, "Oh, here's a guy. He just plays lots of shots, and he makes the occasional good score, but he gets out. He averages 28." And he's not going to be good enough. But Jake's gone back and reinvented his game, and 10 years later, he's in the Australian team. Sometimes you've got to go down that path. So a bit of patience, help them with their experience, and maybe in Australia we're a bit more patient with guys. We recognise their talent, and it's a catch-22 for Pakistan cricket because there is so much talent. It's easy to chop and change. Sometimes you just got to stick with the guys who you recognise their talent and make sure they perform, whether that's in first-class cricket or club cricket in Pakistan. They've got to keep doing the job. And that's how you pick people. You pick people on performance. So I think Pakistan turns its players over a little bit too quickly, and that's certainly at the national team level. And something we tried not to do when I was the coach there. And we had a young team after that 2007 World Cup fiasco in the West Indies. We've had a lot of young players identify that they were really talented, and we tried to stick with it. And I think to a large extent that worked. We got a lot of very, very good players out of that. Unfortunately, administrations change, selectors change, and you sort of go back to the good old, bad old ways of not giving people enough opportunity.
Well, I was just going to mention that, Geoff, that this constant chopping and changing of captains, selectors, players, coaches, it's like a never-ending cycle in Pakistan cricket. And we saw an example of that with the coaches. They appointed Gary Kirsten, they appointed Dizzy as well, and with a blink of an eye, they were both gone.
Yeah, I mean they're the two recent examples, and I mean I spoke to Dizzy before he took up the job. Obviously, he's a good friend of mine, and he said, "Well, you've been in Pakistan. What do you think?" And I, gave him some advice, and unfortunately, it turned out much like I suspected it would. I mean, you've got to have good administration. The people at the top of the tree have to direct. What the national selectors do and how their system works. And when I was very lucky, Sarge, when I was there, we had a great administration. Terrific chairman of the board. Let cricket people run the organisation. Madassar Nazar was the head of the NCA. Really good people who understood the game and understood the pathway you've got to take, and that matters. That matters a great deal. That your admin is terrific, and that helps the players do their job. So, I mean, the turnover of Kirsten and Gillespie was, I mean, they're two excellent coaches. Two really good people, two excellent coaches, and I think Pakistan missed a bit of a trick by not having those two guys there for longer.
And Geoff, this BBL, we're seeing some Pakistani names there, including the likes of Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, Shabab Khan, Hassan Ali, Haris Rauf, etc. So, I mean, it's exciting for Pakistani fans to see those players taking part in the BBL. How do you think these guys will do?
Well, it's exciting for Australian fans as well. I deal closely with the Sydney Sixers. I was on the coaching staff there, but as a state selector, I need to be neutral between the Sydney Thunder and the Sydney Sixers. But I was on the Sixers coaching staff, and Greg Shipper, the coach there, him and I are pretty close. And when he said he was getting Babar Azam, I thought, how good is that? One of the world's best players coming to play in the Australian system. The Big Bash is it's a major competition. It gets a lot of eyeballs in summer. Of course, we have the Test match starting today, but at night after that finishes, we'll have a Big Bash game on TV. I think in fact tonight on Wednesday night, the Sydney Sixers are playing at the SCG, so Babar Azam will get another chance. I'm sure Shadab Khan bowling last night. It's terrific. Unfortunately, Shaheen Afridi bowled a couple of full tosses the other night and got taken off, but that happens, when you bowl your slower ball. Shocking, stupid rule, but yeah, look, it is really terrific to have those players playing in the Big Bash. We miss out on lots of other international players because of the timing and other international tournaments that are on. So to have those guys, that's a win-win. Okay, a win for them, they get to play in the Big Bash. But a win for the Australian fans who get to see some wonderful cricketers, do their thing.
It'll be interesting to see how Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan do, Geoff, because they're not the quickest of starters. And the Big Bash, from what I've seen, it's all guns blazing, isn't it? And whether Babar and Rizwan fit into that brand of cricket, it's going to be difficult for them, especially on those types of surfaces, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, most of the Big Bash pitches are pretty good to bat on. They are quite hard, and the bounce is true, but they're pretty good batting wickets. You don't find much seam movement at all, apart from the first couple of overs. So it's very good batting conditions with a bit of extra bounce. But you talked about Rizwan and Baba. I mean, they're both world class players. When they'll figure it out sooner rather than later. I mean, what shots are on, whether they've got to play square or with a bounce, or they're going to hit it down the ground. So look, I'm sure both of those will adapt fairly quickly.
You mentioned about Shaheen. He's obviously one of the finest bowlers in the world nowadays, Geoff. How do you gauge his development in all three formats, really?
Oh, look, he's been terrific. I mean, he has just got better every year. I loved it when he was captain. I mean, I love seeing fast bowlers as captains for a start. He's a great character. I mean, he obviously enjoys playing the game. And sometimes people get a little bit too serious and caught up in their own little mindset on, how to play the game. Whatever format Shaheen plays, he's trying his best, but he's generally got a smile on his face, and he obviously just enjoys playing cricket, and that's just That's a wonderful example to anybody, whether you're playing, in the under 12s down the road, or you're playing international cricket. So I think the Australian crowds were really warm to Shaheen because he's just a lovable sort of character, and he's also a terrific bowler.
Many people were surprised that Mike Hesson took on the role of the white ball coach for Pakistan, Geoff, given what had happened to Dizzy and Gary Kirsten. How do you think he's doing? And were you surprised that he took on the challenge?
Well, look, Mike did a terrific job with New Zealand. Really top level coaching, and the Kiwis have been playing some excellent cricket now for several years. They really make the most of there. We talk about resources and what Pakistan got, what Australia got, but New Zealand, they don't have very many cricket resources at all. I mean, the population of the place is about 5 million. So, that's not even the population of Sydney and about, a third of the population of Lahore. So, Mike, I think he did a wonderful job, and obviously he'd been there long enough that it was time to move on for everybody, which happens. You don't have to fail to move on, but Mike was good at that, and I think he likes a challenge. He's a very cerebral coach. So didn't completely surprise me, because I say people like him love a different environment and a different challenge, and that's what he'll have. He'll have a different challenge. So, I hope he just, once again, I hope he just enjoys it. You've got to have the right mindset going to those sort of jobs, of what you cannot do, and basically you just got to try and get the best out of the players you've got. Hopefully he works well with the selectors, because that's a key part of keeping a team together.
Just a quick one on the Ashes, Geoff. 5-0 all the way, I think.
Well, I don't know about that, because I'll get some good batting wickets coming up. But if Australia win in Adelaide, if it goes 3-0, then it might be 5, because England have shown they can't adapt their playing style. And they should have had 2 good chances to win in Perth and in Brisbane, with the way the conditions were. Australia are a bit vulnerable at the top with their batting, but England have failed to adapt to the conditions. Playing their batsmen playing shots that just aren't on in Australian conditions, and Australia can bowl. Even though we were short of Cummins and Hazelwood, we've still got some pretty good players. We thought with Mike Neser up in Brisbane, a really good cricketer. We got a bit of depth at the moment. Cummins is obviously back. Cummins and Lyon are back for this 3rd test. Australia gets stronger, and England, they're just in 2 minds about how they want to play, and they haven't been able to adapt to what's been put in front of them. So they can come back at Adelaide. I think they have got what it takes, but they need Archer to bowl consistently well. He's got to step up and understand how tough Test cricket is, and his job, because he has bowled 150 Ks at times in the first and the second Test, but not at the right times. But he's got to do that all the time, and so his job in this 3rd Test will be key. But if he doesn't step up, and Australia, who are very confident at the moment, if they can get 3-0 up, well, then it certainly might go 5 after that.
As a former coach yourself, though, Geoff, what do you make of BazBall? I mean, when things are going well, everyone sort of hails BazBall. It's brilliant, positive cricket, and then when things go wrong, people are quick to criticise it.
Well, the major problem is if you want to play the same style of cricket all the time. I mean, for example, if Australia want to bat on Australian conditions like they do and be successful, when they go to India or Pakistan, they can't bat the same. It's a different game. And that good Test cricket sides adapt to what is put in front of them. And England's BazBall style has been very exciting. There's no doubt about that. And they've won a lot of Test matches, and they've got a lot of fans back for that team. That's terrific. So they certainly tick that box. But Test cricket's a different kettle of fish, Sarge. I mean, you're not playing 20 over and 50 over white ball cricket where you just go out and play a lot of shots, and if you don't get away with it, there's no repercussions. In Test cricket, if you don't get away with your shot making, there are repercussions, because the opposition have got a long time to win the game. And just not adapting to Test cricket in that fashion, that's where I think England have been criticised the most. Not because they play an upbeat aggressive so-called BazBall style. A lot of teams have done that over the past. People score quickly when the conditions allow it, but when the opposition bowling is pretty good and there's a bit more bounce in the pitches, you've just got to change your game. And I guess we saw that in Brisbane to a degree when Stokes and Jacks batted for nearly 4 hours. I mean, that was good Test cricket. They got their heads down, played well, played the shots that were on, let the ball go. I mean, that got England back in the game. Unfortunately, they didn't quite get enough runs because they'd failed in the first innings. But that was a good example of being adaptable and flexible, with Stokes leading the way. But he's got a problem with guys like Harry Brook, immensely talented. So much talent. I mean, I really like the way Brook plays, but he's just got to pick the right ball to hit in the right place. So, yeah, and they'll come in for criticism when they lose because they look reckless. But the problem is being adaptable, not being reckless.
And finally, Geoff, Pakistan are looking for a red ball head coach. CV ready, Geoff? Ready to get back into action?
Oh, you're looking for me to recommend somebody?
No. I was wondering whether you were interested, Geoff, and whether you want to make a comeback.
I haven't had a phone call, Sarge. Yeah, pretty happy doing my selection stuff. I mean, I'm doing all things. You mentioned at the top. I'm tied up in the media, and I love coaching. I mean, I do, whether that's individuals or teams, and as a state selector, I also get to advise on coaching because, I mean, obviously I've played and coached and whatever. So that's pretty good. I think that'd be unlikely. I mean, going back all those years, I mean, one of the reasons I took that job is because I had great administration support. And I mentioned, before, I mean, chairman, CEO, head of the NCA, sports medicine, physio, the whole thing. Everybody was heading in the right direction. It was a really good time to be in Pakistan cricket. And at the moment, I'm not sure if everybody's heading in the same direction. but never say never, Sarge, but I mean, it's pretty unlikely.
Well, I still keep in touch with many of the players who played under you, Geoff, and none of them have a bad word to say about you, and I think they all really enjoyed their time under your leadership.
Yeah, look, and when I was back in Pakistan for that coaching stuff a couple of years ago, I literally ran into Cameron Akmal, but I mean, it was like we never finished. We were just there. It was like I'd only been away for a couple of months. We're on the NCA campus with those guys. We had Big Row helping me out with the coaching. It was good to be back with them. Good people.
Well, the opportunity is there to go back if you want it, Geoff.
Yeah, I think that's unlikely, Sarge.
Geoff, really appreciate your time. Thanks very much. Always good to catch up with you, and enjoy the rest of the Ashes. And I'm sure we'll catch up again in future. Many thanks.
Thanks, mate. Always great to chat. Take care.
Yes, thank you.